Hello, hello! Ice Cold. Good morning, Red Dread. How are you? Hello. So my eye tracking isn't working, but that's okay. We don't need it for today. It's been messing up anyway. But today, as you can see plainly from the title, as well as Twitch, it is technically going to be an art stream today, but we're going to be building up on the world building that I started yesterday, which was making a fantasy race from scratch. I do have the list for everything that I did as little bullet points from yesterday, and I can go over that in quick succession before we get to the next part, which is clothing, my favorite part of creating a race. Because fashion is everything, well, not everything, but it's one of the biggest points for me when it comes to creating my own race of people. I mostly just make them as my own dolls, I guess, to put clothes on them. Because I am a fashion bat. Also, if you hear meowing, that's not me, I promise. That's my cat. Fashion? More like passion. You're right. I have a passion for fashion. Fashion to me is like... it's no secret. I hope that, shh. Shh, it might be me. Listen, it's fine. Clothes are great. They're one of the peak ways to let out your creativity when done correctly. When you have a society that lets you show off that creativity, at least. From my perspective. Because I'd like to think I've always gone against the grain when it comes to clothing statements, because I'm not a fan of like trends. I like to keep it vintage, as you can plainly see. So clothing is very much near and dear to my heart, especially really not obscure. What's the word? Not quite vintage either. Not a cult. I'm not sure what the word is. But, you get it. I don't want to say particularly gothic. Alternative clothing. That's what it is. I like alt clothing. Clothes that are, like, typically darker, punky, blacks, purples, reds, leather boots, all that kind of stuff. So I've never been able to mesh well with the standard fashion. It's always too boring for me. And I think that stems for what I'm creating today, which is a fantasy race that I designed that is basically wish fulfillment. They are the epitome of alt. Not only just alt fashion, but I gave them naturally vibrant red to blue hair and every color in between that. And then on top of that, I gave them very white pale skin and black, like, markings on their body. So I'm like, hey, look, they can naturally have black lips. You don't have to go through the fuss of putting on black lipstick every morning. It's fine. So they are very much wish fulfillment in that degree. So we're gonna hop right on over there. Let's do a little hop, skip, and a jump. Here we are. And this is the bullet points that I created yesterday for those who were here and following along. Oh, this is what I went over whenever I started creating all of the characters, or all of the characters, the male, female, and other designs for this race. And yeah, we've covered all of these. So if you want to go rewatch that VOD after this is finished, feel free. If you've already watched it, well then you're caught up. But for those who haven't seen it, I'm just going to give a very quick rundown of what this is about. So yesterday we went over the physical proportions, which is what you see here. Let me pull this up. It is in another folder because I am silly. Also, if the music is too loud or too quiet, let me know, and I will fix that. Also, I'm going to do this because Twitch hates me, even though there is no, technically no nudity. I'm going to zoom out real quick. Alrighty, let's scoot all this around. Alright, so there is technically nothing here, but I don't want to get in trouble with Twitch, so I'm just gonna do that. Upload your VODs on YouTube. Oh, yeah. I will be putting them on YouTube. Funny story, I actually didn't have save VODs turned on for my first day, so I thought my first video was lost. And then I realized I accidentally hit record at some point during my stream. So I've lost about the first 30 minutes, but I have about 2.5 hours of the stream anyway, so I don't know how the hell I managed that, but I did it! So that was literally divine intervention on some deity's part. I don't know who to thank for that tremendous blessing. But yeah, they will be going on YouTube, because Twitch will be removing them at some point. But I will probably worry about that after my streams, because I don't want to risk taking up more bandwidth than I already do. Alright, so time to get designing for clothes. So this is the product of what I created. I designed the proportions, I made sure I got the height, and I thought about the weight for these creatures. They're going to be smaller, lither, and lighter than a regular human, but they're still going to have roughly humanoid proportions, because I'm not gonna go super crazy with it and add a bunch of different animal parts to my first race example here, even though I've done that for every other race that I've created. But today oh goodness, cat, no, that's mine. My cat decided to try and eat my mouse cord. But stop it, shoo. Okay. Wow, I lost my track of thought. But, yeah, I know, it is my fault. He saw a moving black wire thingy and went, and he wanted to eat Mousy. I think it's because it's a mouse. He's not here oh, nope, there he is. Excuse me, sir. Get out of my feet. Don't bite my feet. Shoo. Shoo. There we go. Alright. Cat no longer under desk. Okay, so what was I doing? Right, physical proportions. I wrote down their appearance, their body, and their head shape, which is all found here. I made their eyes much bigger. Get up to get water. I am so sorry. You're gonna have to amputate your legs at this point. Once cats sit, you can't move. That's just the rule. My cat likes to, he likes to crawl sometimes in between me and my tablet right here that you see on screen. He likes to get between me and the tablet, so, because it's warm, because it's a monitor technically. So he will be wedging himself between me and the monitor and just be like, yeah, I did that. And I will bite you if you move. So I'm like, I guess I can't draw today because I can't see half my screen. They love him though. He's a cute boy. I want to get some art of him and put it on stream so people get to see his beautiful, cute face. Get out from under my desk though, please. Shoo, leave it alone. No. Just draw half bodies. Cecil, move. Go on. He's laying on the floor. Whatever. You know what? As long as you don't bite anything down there, it's fine. Okay, physical proportions. I got the body and the head. Boom, boom. Done. I decided their eyes were going to be huge. Nose is little. Mouth is little. And I gave them more baddie-like ears because they're underground people. I'm just going to have to ignore the cat. Yeah, and there's the facial features. I figured out the eyes, nose, the mouth, teeth, and tongue. It's smaller, but it's still human enough. And the ears are bat-like, but like with a combination of elvish. Alrighty, I do have a lurk command, so if you want to do that, you can go for it. I have added a few commands, because I'm no longer a dumb boomer. There you go, thank you for the lurk. And enjoy listening to the beautiful Final Fantasy music and me yelling at my cat while gushing about fantasy races. I already determined their height and weight and how many limbs they're gonna have. And when I say limbs, I mean like, are they a centaur? Do they have a tail? Do they have 4 arms? Do they have extra ears, maybe? That's not really a limb, but you get the idea. How many limbs am I putting on these things? And of course, they're standard humanoids, so they're not gonna have anything crazy, just your standard 2 arms, 2 legs. And as well as body features, I made their hands and feet a little longer than a human's and thinner, because they themselves are very, very thin, very small people. But they're very, very good at climbing, to the point where their fingers and toes, I realized I did this on accident, their toes are curling downward. Ours curls upward, while theirs are like have this strange little arch down. Almost like a gargoyle claw, but it's not their nails. It was just kind of a happy accident that I ended up sticking with to explain that yes, they are cave dwellers and they're probably going to be climbing rocks, at least early on, before they have a really established culture, when they're just starting to settle in to this new area to start evolving and developing in. Other features, I didn't give them any other features. I didn't give them gills, I didn't give them tails, I didn't give them extra ears. Because once again, they're just humanoids. I do have a few races that do that, but I'm not going over those today. This is just for the sake of making some things simpler, while other people follow along and create their own races using these bullet points. And hair. I had a lot of fun with hair. I've determined that they are only going to have hair on the tops of their heads because, like I said, this is partially wish fulfillment, and their natural patterns on their faces is inspired by corpse paint, which is what you see on a lot of Swedish metal bands and really hardcore death metal bands. Fans, I mean. I need some water real quick. The good sip. Alright, but yeah, they're not gonna have beards. They can't grow beards, and they probably don't get a lot of hair on their bodies, if at all. Which means their skin is probably very sheen, very smooth. Almost like touching, not really a leather, but more like a silk. Maybe like a a thicker silk. I think that'd be pretty nice. Hair function, there's nothing too crazy about hair function. That's just a list if you have hair that's not necessarily human hair. I know there are some sci-fi species out there with tentacles for hair, because tentacles are always fun. So that would go in hair function. It's like, is it prehensile? Is it a tentacle? Can it move? Or say you're making a Medusa race. Is it actually snakes? You know, that kind of stuff. But for me, I didn't have anything. And no hair, replace it. Replace it with whatever you feel is appropriate. If they are a lizard race and you don't think hair necessarily would make sense because they are reptilian, replace it with feathers. That would be really pretty. Or replace replace it with frills, like a frill lizard, like it can puff up, but when it lays on the head, it could look maybe like a silhouette of hair. It gives off that element, you know? So that's what you could do for that. And colors. I went over their skin colors, which is always going to be a very, very pale white color. Maybe they can get a little darker, or they can get more color if they're perhaps maybe a hybrid with elves or humans, whatever. But other than that, they're going to keep this very, very pale color. Skin markings. I gave them blotchy markings, as you can see here. I thought about why and how they would get these markings, and I think the best way to explain it is that when they're born, they were probably born mostly this marking color, this very dark color, maybe with a few splotches of white here and there, like on their nose or something. And as they grow, their skin stretched just like how we do, which is why we get stretch marks. So it's like inverted stretch marks, almost. The skin will stretch and move that black on their backs and the backs of their arms and legs, keeping the insides of their tummies and their necks and around their faces white to open up to that new color. And it creates very unique bramble-like patterns or like tear-stained patterns across their faces and their bodies. Hair color, I did choose between like a very pretty vibrant orange to a very vibrant blue. And it took me a while to figure out what colors I wanted because none of the like natural human colors that we have looked good on their skin color. But neither did any of the not really warmer, what is it? Like the warm neutral, like yellow and green. Those didn't look good on them either. And neither did pastels. If it was dull pastel or yellow-green, it just looked silly. So these are the colors I'm sticking with. They could probably get a bit darker or lighter, depending. But for the most part, they're always going to be very vibrant, very pretty. And their eye color, it's going to be every color in the rainbow, as long as it's a very pastel, because I want their eyes to be glowing. I want their pupils to be able to produce light, and then they're going to have like a darker color iris that kind of like rings it like a rim around that light. Because once again, they're underground. So their eyes are naturally bioluminescent. So this is glowing. And that's what I stopped at for these little guys and gals. And that is the notes from yesterday. Now what I'm going to do is turn off... There we go. Turn off everything that I made of the notes yesterday, and we're going to make new notes today. Because we are going over clothing. Now, this isn't the first stop on my template that I have personally made for myself, but it is the most fun. So I'm going to skip ecology, because no thank you. I don't want to bore myself here. Yeah, there's physical, there's biology, which that's more about senses, locomotion, sleep cycle, and we're not going through that. That sounds boring. I can't draw that. And ecology is more about their habitat, their predators, and their prey. Once again, I can't draw that. That sounds boring. Maybe I'll draw, like, cuisine they can create at some point. But for now, we're working on fashion. We're skipping 2 whole points. Oh, by Builder Ace. Oh yeah, these were my beginning notes for how I want them to look. So today we are working on... Oh! Ghost Scott Inc! Thank you for the follow! How are you doing? Let's see. Let's write this down if I can get... if I have good handwriting. Well, that's okay. I've done that on occasion. Like, I like this person. After 2 weeks, I'm not following you. Oh, whoops. Oh, thank you for the host, Captain Ryza. Welcome back. How are you? Let me make sure I'm following my pattern here, because that will bugger me. Ow! Is that your horn? You have come to port. Alright, there we go. So, we're going to work on clothing. Accessories, because everyone wears pretty bangles. Oh, hello? Pen? Why isn't my pen working? I must have run out of ink. Hairstyles. Tattoos. And makeup. And makeup includes face paint. At least in my book. So, each of these categories I'm going to divide up into subcategories because there is a lot of nuance, at least in our more vintage cultures, where there is a difference between classes. Nowadays you don't really see that because we don't really have classes in the traditional sense. We don't have, well, I mean we do, but we all basically wear the same thing. It's just dependent on whether it's cheaper made or I don't know, Gucci made or something. But we all use and wear the same thing. However, in older times, people wore completely different things, or they wore completely different colors to denote their social rank, their social caste, I guess. Their social class. Class is a better word. Like, take for example, in medieval era, Tyrian purple was only worn by the aristocracy, the literal leader of a kingdom, because it was such a rare color to get. You would never see a peasant wearing that. So we're going to be working on that. We're going to be figuring out what our castes are, and then we're going to be figuring out what they wear to denote that caste. And it could either be work-related or position-related. Because more than likely, it's always going to be work-related. You can tell a fisherman is different than a lawyer, but just by looking at them. Because of what they wear, at least in older times. So we're going to be figuring out what kind of jobs they would even have to have these classes. Alrighty. Thank you for the lurk. Enjoy your yummy food. So, I'm going to work on classes real quick. This is usually in social, but it does tie into clothing. So, for these little guys, I was thinking they will have a royal class because, of course, most of the world has a royalty class. Let's scoot this down and write down social classes. There we go. So, we will have royalty. We will have a working class. I'll put them down here. Like the laborers. Laborers would probably be a better term. And of course there will probably be a military class and a priest class. Because I want to base them a lot off of medieval to Victorian, like what you would consider medieval or Victorian Gothic look. So maybe the more punky look, the ripped jeans and the chains, could be somewhere down here because it does look a lot more beat up in terms of clothing, which is an aesthetic choice for them. But in this sense, I think it would be down here, while the people who are wearing multiple layers and don't want to get their lace ripped and all that, they're going to be up here in the royalty. And like the priests, there is such a thing as like Gothic Catholicism, where people do take on spins on Christianity and make like Gothic nuns and stuff. I've seen that. It's not very common, but it has been done before. Christianity seems to go hand in hand with the Goth aesthetic a lot. So does Egyptian stuff, especially the Ankh. So we could do something with that with the religion. So yeah, I think they would have a priest caste because of that association. A priest caste or a temple caste, something like that. I can't really think of any way they would super need military. They are all underground, so they're all very safe. And they are so few and far between, they wouldn't really benefit from fighting each other. So if there is a military class, I don't think it would be what people would consider standard. Also, I can't think of any situation where there would be like Gothic armor. Let's look this up. I don't think they'd have access to armor. Now, since they are underground, they're probably going to be similar to dwarves in terms of what materials they're allowed to get. Because Tolkien's dwarves are considered usually, oh, they're very rich and they're very isolated. That's kind of what I'm getting from these guys. So, I don't know if they're going to have armor in the traditional sense. I think they're going to be using all of this material to create a lot of wealth instead. I don't know if they're going to be found yet. That's the thing I need to come up with. Have they been discovered by the people on the surface? And when I say people, I mean other humans or maybe the elves, if this is in the context of my fantasy world. If that's the case, then they might be trying to make some sort of armor, because they need to protect themselves from these new threats. But I don't think they'd be able to have a caste separate for it. I think they would just be drafting anyone they need, so no military. No strict military caste system, I don't think. I do think there's going to be a middle class, which is a lot like merchants and all that. And like artisans, like people who work with these precious metals. So I'm going to put down a artisan class. And I think that's it. I think these are all the classes I want. The royalty, the priesthood, artisans, and then laborers. Yeah, I think this works. So what we're going to do is plug all of these in with the pieces up here. And we're going to figure out what each class will look like when we've put all of these together. So if you are going over your world, feel free to do the same. Figure out what would make sense in terms of classes or caste systems. Does your world have a caste system for these people? Or is it in a like sci-fi situation where everyone's maybe the same on the same playing field, so everyone wears the same stuff, everyone has access to the same stuff? Or is it more feudal, where there's lords owning land and there's serfs? Take into consideration all of these things, and then we can start the building blocks for clothing. Now, if it doesn't have a caste system, figure out what kind of materials they have available to them, whether it be through creating or through import. There is import in the worlds. There's import in the modern world, so why wouldn't there be in another world? See what maybe could be in fashion. It could be whatever your tastes are, or whatever's making the most sense at the time. For me, like I said, this is wish fulfillment, so I'm going to work around all of the cool gothic aesthetics that I've come to know and love. So once you have all of that, and you have your classes, or lack thereof, and you have an understanding of the materials they have access to, then we can proceed. For me, I know they have access to spider silk, not milk, like some people have tried to suggest. Spider silk. And they do have access to a lot of silvery metal. Maybe it's not necessarily silver, but metals that are silvery in color. Because I really love silver. Silver is a beautiful color. What else? Maybe they have access to, because they are underground, gemstones. A various amount of gemstones. Gemstones. Maybe not pearls. Maybe peridots, however you say it. Quartzes, various quartzes. Emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and it's probably in so much abundance, and they probably have all these sprawling networks that for them it's pretty common. So I'd like to think all of this is very common. Spider silk is also very common because the spiders down here where they live are huge. So the silk it comes in barrels of silk from just one widow spider, or false widow spider, I'd like to say. They don't probably work with real widows, or they would be dead, because widows hurt real bad and they poison the hell out of you. False widows, however, aren't nearly as venomous. They're not nearly as venomous. So we're gonna... what else? Oh, leather. Spider leather. Because there is... they do have their spiders, and as they get old and pass away, I'm sure they would harvest pieces of the spider. They would probably harvest the fangs, so they'd probably have really cool fang necklaces. I know they want to harvest the keratin, the chitin on the spider, which would probably be a little flimsy, like probably very flexible, very bendy, thick, like a leather, but not from an animal's hide. It would be from this spider hide. Since it would be a false widow, they would have access to black and red. I don't know if you can dye spider leather because we don't have that here, but we can dye leather as long as it's a very light color. However, this spider leather is going to be black, so I don't think it's going to be dyeable. They're always going to only have this sheen black leather, which is perfectly fine. What else would they have access to from under this? Oh, bioluminescence. They would have access to glowing mushrooms. And this could help with making... I don't want to sound like a raver, but this could actually go towards like glow sticks. Like they could be like ravers. Gravers. It could also go towards face paint or tattoos maybe. What else? I think that's it in terms of materials that they could use for fashion. Because I'm sure they have other things down there that could serve as food, but I'm not looking at food right now. I'm looking at only stuff that they could use for the sake of dressing themselves up. So let's move that over there. There we go. Okay, so spider silk is probably always going to be white, like a very sheen white. And the gemstones can come in any color. Oops. My pen decided to not work. There we go. And the glowing mushrooms... Cat! The glowing mushrooms could probably be, I don't know, greens and blues, maybe? Let's put it down here. Green and blue. I can't think of any other colors. Let's look up mushrooms. What do glowing mushrooms look like? Yeah, it seems they're always usually just green. Mostly green and maybe sometimes blue. But it seems to be mostly green. And it's really pretty. It's actually very pretty now that I'm looking at it. Look at these beautiful, look at this beautiful mushroom. Pretty. Okay, so yeah, I will only keep it probably green and occasionally blue. Because I don't really see any instances of blue, sadly. But this is my world, so I'll make an exception. Time to work on the actual clothing designs. Before I get started, though, I need to figure out how they dye their spider silk. They might use a type of coal, because they are underground. They've probably mined up coal. So coal for dye. They probably also use glowing mushrooms for dye. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else they would be able to get a hold of. Maybe lapis? Lapis lazuli? For dye? So they would have access to the black color as well as blue. Lots of blacks and blues and reds in here. I don't want to say malachite because malachite's poisonous, but our ancestors did use malachite for makeup. The ancient Egyptians actually loved using malachite powder for makeup. Let's look that up real quick. Limestone. Limestone's not really a color, though. Yeah, I think lapis, malachite, and coal would probably be the only two I'd really use. Yeah, I think I'll put down malachite. That way they can have beautiful emerald. There we go. Malachite for dye. Then that would give them access to a very beautiful green that doesn't glow. Actually, do we have any instances of using colors for dyes? Hmm. Not that I can tell. We typically used like berries, and nowadays we use very specific chemicals in order to dye our clothing. But these guys aren't gonna have access to berries, not in the way we do. So they're gonna have to stick with stones, very soft on the Moz scale stones that they can turn into a powder and then soak their clothes in. Alright, so we figured out the basics of what we need to do. And now finally, I can start drawing clothes. So I have my little guys and girls here. I'm going to clear out some of this so I can actually see their silhouette. There we go. Yeah, just trying to be careful because I don't want Twitch to yell at me, even though it doesn't show anything. I still don't want to get in trouble with the feds. There we go. Alright, so for the females, let's find my symmetry tool. There it is. It's already in place. Great. I think I should clean up her markings real quickly because they look a little wonky here. Oh, my music stopped. Uh-oh. Actually, let's play something different for a moment. Let's see if we can't find some nice royalty-free music. Let's see. How's that? Is that good? I think that's good. Nice, calming. A little spooky, maybe. Ooh. Let me grab my chat box so I can see all of your lovely little words. There we go. I think that works just fine. Let me know if it gets a little loud. I think it might actually be. Let me turn it down. There we go. Yeah, this is ambient music for reading, and it's royalty free, so woo. But if you want to go find it, it's right there. Setting the mood, yes, for my underlings. I did come up with the term underling for them. Hello, Demon Lord Raiju. How are you? Welcome. That's good. Oh, I'm doing great. I am showing people how to make a fantasy race from scratch. Yesterday, I went over all of the points on how to come up with the actual design of the creature, and now we're coming up with the clothing because that's my favorite part. It looks like a cryptid. Actually, yes. Yes, and I love it. That makes me very happy. I love cryptids, so hearing that is like a huge compliment. Look, they do look creepy. They look kind of creepy, and you know what? I'm here for it. So let me fix her, let me fix this lady's bramble design on her face. There we go. That should look a bit better. Fae stuff. Yeah, I like dark fae. I like dark, like, twisted fairies. They look really cool. But these guys, I wouldn't say they're fairies or cryptids. Wendaug? Wendaug. I'm not sure what that is. I'd have to look that up. Yeah, I like the dark fae. These guys are actually based off of just a culmination of me going, hey, I want to make someone with corpse paint and gothic sensibilities. Also, they're underground, so boom, there they are. right now we are contemplating clothing for this young lady. And I did want to use Gothic fashions that you find on our world. A combination of Victorian, neo-Victorian, and typical traditional post-punk look. So that will accumulate between the different classes, the different social classes. I will pull this out so we can see all the different classes. Let's adjust this. Actually, I'll keep it over here. And then we're going to make a new window so that I can see the whole picture, even when I'm zoomed in. There we go. Look at her. Lovely young lady. Alright, so we're going to start with... let's start with the royalty first. So I want a more Victorian look for these guys. They're going to have a lot of layers, a lot of lace, and a lot of jewelry. Maybe all of the clothes are kind of puffy in some areas too. Like with hoop skirts maybe, because they do have access to very strong, possibly flexible metals that they could work into these hoops and maybe into corsetry. They're not going to use whalebones like our ancestors did, but nowadays we use very flexible wire that has been coiled and flattened. And I could see them working that in a way. They could be developing that kind of technology to help reshape their body structures a bit, because they're already pretty lithe, so I think they'd have fun with accentuating certain parts of their bodies. Ooh, the music got sinister. But I could see them padding themselves in certain places to kind of accentuate these curves and play around with their silhouettes. So let me go find some references, because you always need references when doing art. Otherwise, how do you know what it looks like unless you're not looking at it? Am I wrong? Let's see. I have a folder that harbors a bunch of clothing. Because I was thinking of something kind of like this. Maybe a bit more detailed than that, but like this is a pretty good starting point. That's one of the references that I have. Let's see. This music, it's so spooky. I'm getting into it. Oh, maybe something like this. I found this earlier today. It's even got the corpse paint that I put on my people. I think that'd be pretty interesting. They'd probably have one color here and another color underneath. So just some references here and there like that. But I will be looking for more as I do this. Even if I have a lot, I could always use more. So for royalty, they are going to have access to the... This music is too much for me sometimes. I might switch back at some point, but this is what we get to stick with. Where did it go? There it is. So, yeah. For royalty, they were going to have a big... Not really... like a layerful color. A layerful set of clothes. they will have the best of the best. So whatever is in here, they're going to have the highest quality. So what I was thinking is that the spider silk is probably going to be woven in such a way where it's semi-transparent, where it looks like tulle or what's that material? Just the really see-through material, but it's still going to be dyed black. And they're probably going to add multiple layers of this to hide their bodies and do these fun little layering techniques to make it look like they're dripping almost in black cobwebs. Let's see if I can't find an example of that. I know there's something like that out there somewhere. Like this, maybe. Maybe something like this, where it has all of these multiple layers of this semi-transparent fabric, but the fabric is going to be a little softer than this. This looks a little too stiff. Tulle's always kind of stiff, but it's going to be like that, where it's just layer after layer until you can't see anything underneath, but it's all technically transparent. Maybe over time they'll also have ooh, this looks good too. Something like this. I really like this too. I could see them doing this, where it has this really cool effect on the silhouette. So yeah, something like that. And then they'll probably have bits and pieces of leather here and there to act as belts. They will have their silver metal to act as clasps. So for the females, I do. I want the males and females and the U-males to have different shapes and silhouettes of their clothing, because they do look very similar. So I think they would try and make statements of each other to differentiate their genders from one another by putting on these clothes. But I don't know if I want to give females skirts, that's the thing. Because they aren't technically humans. They didn't develop the same way we did. And also, up until the Byzantine Empire, men were also wearing skirts. Men were wearing robes. So maybe they're both capable of wearing pants or skirts or robes, depending on the class, but maybe it just depends on the silhouette. I think that would work really well. So for females, they would all have the skirt-like silhouette. But I feel like they'd probably be wearing a cincher or a corset to kind of accentuate their bodies, and maybe have something that makes their hips look like it flares out, either through little pillows for padding, and maybe they'd have a bit of padding here underneath as well to kind of push up the bust, just to accentuate their body shape to differentiate it from a male shape. Because like I said, their bodies are pretty similar. Females, however, do have just the little bit of like padding difference than a male. So they would want to accentuate it. So females would be wearing corsetry that pulls in their hips just a little bit, squishing that fat, and then flare out their hips on purpose, like this. And I feel like the corset itself would probably have a little bit of padding inside of it. And then it would curl around, let's see, if they would be bending this way, then it would be curl around their legs and wrap around their stomach just a bit like this. Then they would clasp it here, or even tighten it here. Maybe they tighten it in the front. Like this. And then when they're done tightening it, they take the lace. Maybe they tuck it in. Or maybe it ties in the middle and they wrap it around the waist. Yeah, maybe they wrap that wire around the waist just to get it out of the way. They'd probably wear padding on the bust, so they would need something for that. Maybe a hoist, and then something to cup to push it up. But I don't know if they'd want anything to actually hold the chest down. Maybe they'd have some sort of frilly thing to protect the skin from the other layers of clothing. But I can't think of anything they'd be using to really just hold it all down. They'd mostly be wanting to elevate it up and then cover it to protect it from the other layers. Because I'm basing them off of gothic looks, I think, also because I'm cracked, I think I'm gonna give them hose. Either hose or leggings or thigh highs. And since their skirts are gonna be really long, maybe to the knee. Maybe they'd have some knee-high skirts. Or knee-high skirts. Knee-high socks or hose. That means they would probably have a bit of leather padding on the toes, because their toes are, they point really strangely. So I feel like they'd use a very thin layer of spider leather in tandem with this spider silk to kind of just cap those toesies. Keep those little toesies from cutting up the rest of the hose. Because if you made the hose all the way down, they could probably start poking through that fabric very easily. And I don't think they'd want to waste and ruin their beautiful sockies. So let's actually scoot this up just a bit more to add as tacking. Actually, I have a better idea. Let's move this down just a little. And they, once again, have access to spider silk. Ooh, this music. They have access to spider silk and spider leather, so I think they would use leather straps, maybe, to hold down. To hold down the socks like a garter. I think that could work. And there we go. There's the basic silhouette. I feel like underneath this, they could be wearing maybe a shirt to keep their bodies protected from the corset. Because people back then used to wear something called chemises. Chemises were used to protect. This music is way too intense for me describing stuff. Hold up. Let's go back to the beautiful piano. Piano, my beloved. I felt really weird describing stuff to that like sinister sounding music. Okay. Yeah, people used to wear something called chemises underneath their corsets to keep the skin from getting rubbed badly with this whaleboning and this tough, taut fabric that was their corsetry. So they're probably going to wear something like that. It's probably going to be really, not really puffy, but probably big enough for them to lift up so they can go bathroom. And then they might wear, on top of the corset, they might wear some puffy little, maybe some puffy little pants. And the pants are probably low enough for the shirt to fit inside. Kind of like the shirt is being tucked in with these. So all they gotta do is take off pant, and pant probably reaches to their knees in tandem with the garters. Maybe their chemise is a little shorter, just to fit these puffy little balloon pants on better. There we go. And that is going to be our base for the royalties' clothing. Now, because they're royalty, they're going to have access to all these materials and all these layers that they can afford to just spend all day putting on. Because that's what they do. They're royals. They don't care. As for men, what do I want to do with the boys? Hello, boys. How are we doing? So the women, while patting themselves out and squishing their hips out and their waist in, I don't think males would want to accentuate their shoulders because that's a human thing. Humans like to accentuate their shoulders because it's just how our bodies are naturally shaped, but these guys don't really have a shoulder to hip ratio when it comes to the different sexes. Yes, the women are padded more on the hips, but the men still have the same shoulder size as them. So what are we gonna do for them? Maybe give them like a... this is gonna sound rude. Maybe give them a string bean silhouette. Like maybe they like to look as straight and like a tree as possible, while the women seem to like this almost like this spidery shape, because remember, I did base them off of spiders. So maybe the women like this... oh, my symmetry tool's on. So maybe women want this cool spidery-like design where they've got this thin waist, this like... here's maybe where the spider's head is situated, quote-unquote. Then they've got this big spider butt back here. Maybe in the back they've got this, like, here's their legs. Maybe in the back they're gonna have this, like, spider layer. I think that'd be pretty interesting. So, yeah, the ladies want to look like Black Widow spiders. So here's my cute spider hanging out. So, ladies are going to look like spiders, but male spiders, funnily enough, are always very, very small. They're very tiny compared to female spiders. And more often than not, male spiders don't have these big fat butts. They have very thin butts. They have their little heads, and then they usually do this. Now, that's not every species. Every species is different, but usually male spiders are very, very small. And they have very small butts, very thinner butts, specifically. While the females have very fat booties. They got the thick girls. I need to stop talking about spider butts. So for that, I'm going to give it to the men. The men are also going to be these thinner, lither, just scrawny little guys. The women are accentuating their hip size. The men are trying to fill in their waist. So let me grab my symmetry tool, move it over to the boys. Hello, boys. How you doing? I say that like it's multiple. It's just one. Let's get that nice and lined up. Okay. So for the silhouette, yeah, I want him to be like this. I want them to start filling in that spot of their body. Now, how in the world are we gonna do that? A corset wouldn't necessarily work. But it could serve its purpose, but they'd have to have padding in the corset to pad out whatever hippage they might have. Actually, I do believe... uh-oh. No. I do believe there is a point in time in European history that men wore corsets. So we could look at that. It could be more like a vestment. Maybe like this. Something like that. where it would go over the shoulders, and then it would pad out their waist. But it wouldn't flare out their hips. They're trying to keep their silhouette as thin as possible. Oh, I know. The 1920s, baby! We can actually go look at some 1920s corsets. Well, they're technically not corsets. They're called something else by the 1920s. But in the 1920s, women started wearing these really low-rise waist corsets, and it would keep their silhouette looking rather pencil-like, because back then the look was tomboyish. Not really tomboyish, but like no curves, very flat, very pencil, like this. So I'm thinking I could do something like that, maybe, where they are actually trying to flatten just a bit and pad out the rest. Now, granted, not every 1920s lady looked like that specifically. Some did still keep their curves, because it was just the more brasiers, I think is what it was called. No, that's a lie. Hold on. I'm not up to date with all of the terms. Let me see if I can figure it out. Oh, they did call them combinations. I know that was a term they used too. Because it was like a little... It was literally a combination of different pieces that you put together. So I could do something with that. Yeah, let's try something like that. Because they have nothing up here to pad. So they wouldn't really have something up there to help with padding. So they'd probably start their stuff here. And they would probably have a lot more flexible fabric down here in order to move their legs, because they are trying to flatten that curve. Let's go look at male corsets again real quick. Because there are some instances of male corsets where it does curve around them. And it's not a waist vestment. Oh, that looks nice. So yeah, this would probably curve around like this. It wouldn't curve up and in like that, like females' corsetry over here. And it would probably have this simple dip, nothing too crazy, and inside it would be padding them out. Just like the women would have pad here, the men would have a bit of padding in here. Oh, hello kitten. And that would help keep their silhouette that they want. And then they would, of course, have the lace up, just like the ladies. And then here, they'd probably... I don't know if they'd want to wrap it around, because that might take away some of the straightness that they have. They might tuck it in right here. They'd probably tuck in the string just a bit. Yeah, I think that would work very well. And then their silhouette would be very flat. And it would all be filled with boning, that metal boning that I talked about. It would go down and then start curving just a little here, but not too much. It would probably open here just a bit to give their legs a bit more room. But other than that, that's their silhouette. Similar to the women, they would probably have garters. I know in the early 20s to 30s, men were wearing socks with garters that went up their ankles. And I know even earlier than that, men were wearing leggings that reached up past their knee, and they gartered those as well. So I think we're going to do something similar. I think we're going to keep the knee garters up. I think we're going to give them their little knee, and then we're going to give them their garters. Women's garters are clasped around. So yeah, I don't think they change their socks too differently. I feel like socks would be pretty unisex. They would also have those little caps of a thin layer of leather because they don't want their toesies to rip their sockies. There we go. As for pants, I don't think they'd have puffy pants because they are trying to get rid of that puff. They want a slender, trim silhouette. So what I'm thinking is they're probably wearing a shirt. They need to wear something underneath because they don't want to get chafed by their corsetry. Let's just give them a little shirt like this. Just a quick chemise-inspired shirt to keep this from rubbing on them raw. And then they're going to just have pants that maybe start here. And then the pants are very trim and possibly flare out just a bit at the bottom. But nothing too crazy. Nothing super puffy like the females. Ow. I just hit my hand on something. So there we go. There's our two silhouettes. And these are going to be the base silhouettes for not only royalty, but the entire culture. Because just because you're not necessarily, you know, super rich, it doesn't mean you don't want to look good. Oh. Let's close that out. Okay, so, right. The U-males. They are a special breed. Because, like I said, each gender has these very specific silhouettes. But there is technically a third gender. There is an androgynous gender. Thank you, Kon! Hello, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? Where are my colors? There they are. Just vibing and watching some cuties. Aw, who are those? who are you watching? Couldn't be me. Nah, it couldn't be me. Oops. That wasn't me. I meant to do this. There we go. I wanted to give the boys a quick design here. Because I gave the girl her little pattern. Nah, man, it couldn't be me. Psh. Psh, I'm not cute. What do you mean? Let's give the boys a quick design. I'm gonna give him something a little simpler. Make him look like maybe he's crying. Oh no, he's so sad. Oh no. But yeah, for those who are just coming in or weren't here for yesterday, I am building a fantasy race from scratch for my world. Yesterday, we worked on the actual design of the race, which is what you see here, the finished product. And today we are working on clothing and fashion, specifically the fashion among the different castes. And I'm going to be basing the fashion designs off of, admittedly, a lot of gothic aesthetic, such as Victorian, neo-Victorian, punky, maybe a bit of cyberpunk, cybergoth looking stuff, because they do have access to bioluminescent mushrooms. So that means, you know, glow sticks and glow-in-the-dark accessories. So who knows, we might have a cybergoth in our midst. But for now, I'm just working on the silhouettes of their current fashions, which is what their royalty is probably spearheading, because that's how it always works. Our royalty spearheads our fashions. Marie Antoinette spearheaded a lot of fashion designs, and when she got, when she lost her head from her shoulders there, a lot of people rejected her clothing. They stopped wearing her stuff and started wearing more Greek, classical Hellenistic period clothes, which is why we have the Regency period. Regency? However you pronounce it. Fun fact. So yes, royalty will spearhead or piss off the commoners to where they will wear your clothes or they will deny your clothes and they'll wear something completely different. So for now, we're just working on what everyone's probably looking at and trying to emulate. And so far, we got giant butt ladies that look a lot like a spider, specifically a black widow spider. And then we have the boys, who also have a spider-like design, but it's more of like the slenderness of it all. Because male spiders, not all of them in all species, but most of the time male spiders are a lot smaller and have a lot thinner booties. So, alright, now that we're all caught up, I'm going to finish designing this little boy's faces. Spiders are good beans. All spiders good beans, babies. And they are based off of spiders loosely, this race is. So, good baby spiders. Good spider baby beans. Actually, I could give this guy like a cool little crescent moon, maybe? Because no one said they didn't have to have really dope patterns. They probably have like these really cool... There we go. Really cool patterns. Their irises, their sclera are also black, so it kind of just mingles with their markings. I'm going to give him some black lips. Some full black lips, and let's give it a nice little triangle. There we go. That's gonna be this guy's pattern. Maybe a little pull in on the cheeks too, like this. Give his face this ghastly design. And then we are going to finish the rest of him. Give him his little blotches on his body. I don't want him to have as much of a blotchy look as she does. His is probably going to be a lot more streamlined, a lot more gentle on his body. Maybe his particular pattern gives him something that looks like gloves on his hands. Ayo. Yeah, something like that. Now let's give him his waist. There we go. Let's have it curl in on the knees. And let's let it cover the leg for the most part. There we go. Simple pattern for my simple male. And I think I'll give a pattern to my U male real quickly as well, since we're about to start working on their silhouette. Their fashion silhouette, I should say. That's not quite in the middle. I think this is. Alright, so I'm gonna give you pretty blue hair. You're gonna get blue hair. Here you go. Wrong layer. There we go. Oh, I should give the male his eyes. Let's give him his eye color. What eye color should I give this boy? I gave the girl yellow eyes. Should I give him some pretty blue eyes, maybe? Some very pretty bright blue eyes. Yeah, that looks nice. And for the U male, I'm gonna give you maybe some. Oh, the contrast. Oh, thank you. I don't know what to do for this one now, though. Maybe a pink. Maybe a very pretty pink. There we go. Alright, let's come in on you. Grab the color. And let's give you a little pattern. I'm gonna probably make it even more subtle than the boys. But you will have the black sclera, like I always imagined. Maybe something like this. Something simple. Let's scoot the boy over. Let's scoot this over so I can see what I'm doing. I don't like that. But I do want to do something with the forehead. So maybe have something coming off of his head like this. Something like that. And now let's color in your little ears, little one. Alright, and then the splotches on the body are going to be very minimal. Because this one outgrew their black splotches a lot, it would seem. Maybe have their hand completely black, though. And of course, the underside of their hand is white, as it all is for all of them. But then after that, it just fizzles out really quickly. Then I will do the same for the feet. Probably have all of it covered, except for the bottom. And then it will fizzle out very quickly. And all you have left are just very subtle patterns. Very gentle. At least a lot more gentle than the others. There we go. 3 different variations of designs. Now that that is over with, I can do the silhouette for these guys. So in nature, we don't really have, I want to say, a lot of references of spiders that have a third sex or are intersex or third gendered or androgynous. So I'm gonna have to, I'm essentially just gonna have to make this up as I go, because I don't have any real world shapes to define. So since the females want to be puffy and the males want to be a thin little little stick here, I was thinking maybe these guys, these ones specifically, would probably want to focus on their upper bodies to stand out between the big butt of the female, as well as the nothing is sticking out males. They would probably want to accentuate the shoulders. So what we're going to do is give them a silhouette that pushes up their shoulders and pulls in their hips just a little bit to give them that triangular curve that they would be going for. So just like before, with the corset on the female and the corset on the male, they would probably be wearing some sort of corsetry to pad themselves out like males do, but instead of focusing on cinching in their hips to match their waist, they would want to be pulling in that waist a little bit and then pushing it out here to kind of give it more of a triangular curve. So something maybe like that. And just like them, they have it laced up. I don't think they'd care as much about tying the knots down here, so they just have their strings tied. Worldbuilding 101s with no references are made. You right. I'm choosing violence today. I'm making them knife-shaped. Alright, now they probably have some padding on their shoulders as well. So because the females are padding themselves underneath the bust, and the males aren't padding themselves at all, they're probably going to pad their shoulders. Like, looking sharp. Wait, no. Whooshing. There we go. Looking sharp. Oh, hello, cat hair. Get out of here. Alright. So, padding on shoulders. They're wearing a shirt as well, just like the males. But the shirt is probably going to have a bit of structure here. And then it will have not really a cone, but just probably a shoulder padding right here. So that means they'd probably have a bit more sleeve than the other two. Something like this. And then they would have these little pads, just a bit of padding in the shirt to push it all up. And just like the males and the females, they're going to have a chemise underneath, a little shirt to keep that corset from chafing, because corsets hurt. Do not put them on the flesh of your. Do not put them on the flesh of your skin. That will hurt. That will rub and that will suck. You want a thin linen cloth underneath that, or it's gonna suck. It's gonna chafe. So they have this little chemise underneath. I'm calling it a chemise because that's what we call it in the real world. But they have another word for it, and it's probably not made of linen. It's probably made of a very fine, thin woven spider silk. And because it is tradition between all of the sexes, we're going to have a little sockies with garters. And just like the male and female, they're going to cap their footies with a bit of a thick layer of leather so their toesies don't break it. And there we go. I think we have all of the silhouettes done. So, yeah, the U males are going to be a triangle. If there was such a thing as a triangular spider. I drew spiders for the other two, so I had to draw a spider for the U male. I think there actually is a spider that's shaped like that, but it's not because of sex, it's just because of evolution. Alright, we've got all of the silhouettes completed. Now we can start going into the actual clothing. Now, if your people do not have these really complicated silhouettes, you don't have to worry too much about this. However, it is a good idea if they are implementing a series of layers to see what shape is in season. Because back then, for us at least, it wasn't about sizing, like I'm a size 12, I'm a size 8, whatever. It was all about the shape of the body, not the slenderness, I guess. They didn't care about size. They cared about your shape. They cared about your silhouette. It's all about the mitts. It's all about the mitts. But, I don't know what... You can't really say we have a shape nowadays. We just wear a t-shirt and pants, whatever. There we go. T-shirt and pant. That's what we wear. We wear two, because I have symmetry tool on again. But back then, they really loved to play with shape. Especially females. I've noticed women's clothing took on a bunch of different shapes, a lot more than men's clothing. Unless you're looking at the Tudor era, in which case men look like this. Men can't, but you get it. Men literally had these stupid puffy ball looking pants. No. Twitch, please. Here, there's their dainty little feet. But men used to have these really puffy pants, and they used to have these onion looking. Yeah, they had these really oniony, pumpkin looking pants. They were just these dumb looking pants. But hey, that was the fashion back then. That was the look. So it's all about going through. I almost drew a penis there, but it's all about looking and seeing what kind of silhouettes you're going to be going for, and what kind of silhouettes would make sense for your people. My people, I don't have a specific reason, because aesthetic doesn't have a reason at the end of the day. You don't need a function to wear a choker necklace. You do it because it's pretty. So you don't have to worry too much about function, but you do have to worry about where they're getting the materials before you can decide how they're putting them together. Oh boy. Whew, almost drew a penis. Anyway, we've got our silhouettes. And now I am ready to start drawing what the royalty would look like. So I'm going to actually... Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no! Oh no, I combined... Oh no! I combined my censor bar the artistic urge to draw phallic symbols for no reason. Hey, when you gotta draw a penis, you gotta draw a penis. That's how it works. I'm so upset now, though. I drew... I don't know when I did it, but I merged the censor bar with the clothing. Oh dear. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can figure out when everything went wrong. I'm gonna hit back. I'm just gonna keep hitting back. No! No! I did it before I drew the female clothing! No! Uh-oh. Welp. Oh. That sucks. That's what I get for not layering, not naming my layers. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna remake my censor bar because I don't want Twitch to get mad at me. Hello? Ah, there it is. A very uptight culture. Yeah! You must wear censor bars on all of your clothing or you're banned. Me crying. See, there's nothing there, but I don't want to get in trouble because I've heard horror stories about Twitch. So I'm keeping everything hidden, even though there's nothing to hide. But yeah, I'm gonna turn down the not the silhouettes, the what is it? Actually, yeah, let's give them a folder. Let's drop them all in there so I can do this. And we're gonna start lining their lining their underwear. Hello, medic. How are you? Hi, hi. You missed the dick drawing. I'm still really mad that I merged the censor bar with the clothes. See if I can't, like, erase some of it so I can see what's in here. Yeah, I had a merging mishap. Let's clean this up. Get out of here. You're all twice censored now. You're double censored. Okay. Alright, I got rid of it as best as I could. So now I can see the silhouette a bit better. And I'm gonna line this real quick. Oh, you're just cleaning. Oh. Doing a little, very, very early spring cleaning. Alright, so where is my... Where did I put my symmetry tool? Come hither, symmetry tool. There you are. Now let's move back to the lady. Because we are going to start drawing out her underwear so we can have just a basis that doesn't have a sensor bar mishap. Oh, nice. I do that too. I'll watch an art stream once in a while. I'll tab out for about 10 minutes, or I'll just draw with them. That's even more fun. It feels like I'm drawing with them instead of just watching them draw. Because drawing is fun. Now, don't tell Twitch mods, but I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit so that I can see the shape of the bust. Because I need to know where I'm gonna be putting this down. Shh, don't tell Twitch mods. Okay. So we are going to be making the uplift, I guess. Which it's I guess it's like a brassiere, but it's more like leather straps that they use to hold this. No, oh, you have artistic ability. You just gotta find it and hone it. I will argue with everyone who wants to say they can't draw. I promise. I will argue. But like, no, you can draw. Shh, it's there. What? That was the scariest shit I have ever heard outside my house. I don't know what that was, but it sounded like a metal monster just running across the street. It was terrifying. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it sounded like it was literally running, like a giant metal, I don't know, like a Decepticon just ran past my house. That was scary. No. No, you don't want to see that, or no, you didn't hear it. Because that was spooky. Oh, okay. Well, you should have. That was terrifying. Do I want everything to be front lace? I think I want everything to be front lace. Front lace looks nice. So if it's going to be front laced, it probably doesn't have that much going for it. That looks good. About that much separation. And then it'll probably have like a plate or something underneath, like a plate of fabric to hide the undertow there. But yeah. Something like that, I guess? I like that. Okay, so then they have the waist being pulled in as far as possible. And then they have... Which way do I want to lace it? And they have padding right here on their hips. And the padding probably pulls in on their legs just a bit. Like this. Yeah. And then they have... I'm gonna do this. Oop, that looked awful. Since they have a lot of access to metals, of course they're gonna have eyelets. Why wouldn't they have eyelets for their corsetry? That would be fucking bananas. And of course they have the boning structure inside, but we don't really see that. We'll probably just see like something like that. Like the simple boning structure from inside. And because women want their hips flared out, they probably have a second boning right here, attached to this one a bit. There, something like that. And now we're going to do the lacing. So we're going to pull this up, up. And boom. And then they're going to have it tied here, and then probably tuck the lacing inside, or they're probably going to let the lacing dangle, tie it here, and then wrap it around their waist for just that extra bit of tug. Just a little bit extra of that tying. Let's turn off Symmetry Tool real quick so that I can have like a little knot here. Maybe the string right here, it's tied, and then they tie it off. There we go. So that's what their corset would look like. Let's actually separate these, because I like to have my stuff in different layers, just so I can click on and off of the pieces. Spider beans would be into bondage. Oh, yeah? Why not? I think there's actually a spider that does bondage. That sounds weird as shit out of context. But, there are species of spiders where the male feels safer wrapping the female up in web and thinks she's, like, tied down. Bit of extra tug. Yeah. Well, because the women want their waists to be thinner and their hips to be wider, because they wanna have that like big bubble butt. So they would definitely tie it around the waist a bit. Why not? Alrighty, so that's their corset. As far as their chemise goes, they're gonna have this strap, and then they're gonna have padding. Yeah, it's... Look, it's real hard getting laid as a male spider. Cause, it's like... You could get laid, but then you could also get eaten. So some have taken evolutionary precautions to go, maybe if I put her in this web, she won't try and bite my head off. It really is. It really is. I feel sorry for the peacock spiders, man. They're out there dancing literally for their life because it depends on it. Like, maybe if I shake my ass enough, she won't kill me. I always go back to bug facts. What is wrong with me? He is. He's out here doing his best, and what does he get? Eaten. What? It's just rude. Just let him shake his booty, man. Let the little spider bro shake his butt. My music stopped again. Music, please! I clicked something else. I don't know if this is copyright, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna just loop my music. Bug facts are crucial for everyday living, really. I don't know how many times I've looked at Leon and said the stupidest shit. The most off the wall. Hey, speaking of, and we're not even talking about it, and I'll just hit him with the most random fact. And sometimes it is about bugs. That poor man has to deal with me talking the stupidest shit. But now you guys get to deal with it. You guys get to hear me talk about dumb facts. Congrats! You've saved him. I think they'd be a bit more padded than that. Because I want the chemise to just really have a padded bust. Let's Google that. Yes, I have my pen in my mouth. Listen. Because I know there are some instances of padded bustles. I have to find that. Petition for a VAC fact, run a fact, redeem when channel points come out. Oh my god, yes. I'd make it like 100 points or something. Something easy because people could just slap me with a, hey, tell me a fact. I'm like, oh, yeah. Maybe I'll run out one day. Or it could be like, tell me a random fact about the whatever you're doing. And then it could be like, did you know that in 1830, running hadn't been invented? Or something dumb, because I know so many dumb things. I can't find any... Okay, like, when I'm not looking for it, there's references everywhere for what I need. And then when I am looking for it, not a single fucking thing. It's like, did you want this? No, I don't want this. I want booba padding. Give booba. Oh, that looks cool, but it's not what I want. I should have saved some stuff. Can't confirm 1830 I wasn't capable of running. I got it right. Hell yeah. Maybe if I Google... Chemise. Maybe if I Google padded chemise, maybe that'll help. Nope. That was worse. It's just giving me guy armor. It's just giving me hockey equipment. I don't need hockey equipment. Life is hard. Life is hard as an artist. You know what? Screw it. We know what it looks like. So let's just try and get through my meltdown. Okay, so they will have a booba padding. And then it will have like this, maybe like a ruffle with some fabric that like is ruffled, because they do want that ruffle. Yeah, something like that. And then the chemise itself just follows their body, because remember, I'm drawing the chemise separate from the corset. Oh! Oh! Thank you for the follow, Angel Bun. Is it Angel Bun XOX, or do I have to pronounce the XOX? Art! Yes, it is art. Specifically of a new race that I created yesterday, and today we're putting clothes on them. hopefully people are following along, because I have been making bullet points, because this is sort of an exercise for world building. But welcome, welcome. Okay, I'll just call you Angel. Right now I'm over here crying over where all of my references went, because whenever I need them, I can't find anything I want. But yeah, the chemise under the corset is going to be about this long. It's going to be a bit ruffly at the ends for extra movement. But other than that, that's all they're going to be wearing underneath their corsetry. There we go. And of course, we can't forget their hose. Oh, you know Con? Con's great. He is sweet fox boy. Oh, actually, I will be right back. I have to. You get to have a, you get to have an upside down, backwards, be right back. There we go. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, And I see that I have 2 new followers. Jacobak and Lovely Rose. Thank you! I'm sorry I wasn't here to say hi. I had to go tend to some stuff, but I am back, and I am going to finish drawing these little pantyhose for these characters. Or rather, this race of characters. Oh, and Steamboat! Hi, Steamboat! And Hoda! Oh, I saw you too. Hello, Hoda. How are you doing? How are all of you doing?
It's nice.
Let me just adjust my mic a little bit so I'm not blowing into it. There we go. Yeah, how are all of you guys doing this afternoon? Oops, messed that up. I just got off work. Ooh, nice. So now you get to just stay home and relax. I'm doing good. I am drawing, for those of you who are just coming in, I am drawing clothing for a fantasy race that I made yesterday. The VOD is still up for that. It will also be going on my YouTube, so Twitch doesn't delete it. So you can see all of the steps I took to create a brand new fantasy race from scratch. And today, we're putting clothes on them, because I skipped 2 of my points. There are technically 2 points of, oh, explore their ecology and explore their biology, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put clothes on my pretty new race. Very cold. Oh goodness. It's cold. It's a weather. It's a weather out there. It's pretty cold here too. Probably not as cold as where you are all from, because I'm in a pretty considerably warm climate. It's certainly not like Finland cold, but it's getting. I'm in a nice little blanket, so make sure you bundle up, Steamboat. Get you a blanket or 2, no shame. No shame in having 2 blankets. Not the call out. Oh god, no, I didn't mean it. Hold on, I'm sorry. I wasn't calling you out, I promise. I'm just saying, I know people have it colder where they are than I do. By the way, shout out to Hora. I'm gonna give them a quick little shout out. I want to show off my fun little. I have commands now. I need to add in more of you guys, because there are multiples of you that I want to add in. But I still have my shoutouts. I know, whoa! And I do have Konkon, but I don't have an actual Konkon yet. I need to figure out who is willing to be my little shoutout homies. Oi! What? What? My stream, my rules. I shout out if I want to. Shout out to these 2. They're both wonderful people. So is Medic. You know what? While they're not looking. Oh, I do need that to be taught to me. I don't know how to do that yet. I know it's something to do with something called Twitch Guru. Yes, perceive the children, perceive all of the good shoutouts. But yeah, I'm probably gonna need help with that. I'm still an old man when it comes to all this newfangled technology. Back in my day, we didn't have plugins like that. So yeah, I'm gonna need help. Afterwards, of course. When we both have the time to look it over. Because I'm actually very proud of myself for setting up my bot commands. I did it. I'm learning. I'm learning with the children, with the cool kids. Hello, kitty cat. Back in my day, I had to fly 15 miles sideways just to get a Twitch to work. Kitty cat, please scoot. Scoot! Scoot your butte! Yes, you're very cute, but scoot your butte. Get out of here. Ugh. Oh, Hora. Were you supposed to be taking a nap? Ooh. Fucking exposed. You know what? That's fair. Sometimes you just need to lay down, not necessarily fall asleep. Alright, I'm gonna give these guys their little toe caps. Oh yeah, for those of you who, sleepy bitch disease. You right. I don't think I'm capable of getting sleepy bitch disease. But I do have, if I go nap, I'll accidentally sleep for 6 hours and then it's not a nap anymore disease. I'll start it right here. Dang it. Okay, hold on. There we go. Yeah, for those of you who weren't here, I'm gonna give these species a little, like, leather cap on their toesies, because I don't want them cutting into their hosies. So they just kind of put a little leather cap on the inseam of their hose. Because they have very sharp little toes and little nails, and they wouldn't want to ruin the pretty fabric work that's been done. All y'all people need to go get some sweeps, I've heard. Let's pull all this in. I'm gonna dull this down a bit so I can see my pants, because we're gonna draw the final piece of this underwear, which are pants. Woo. Kitten. Shush. I hear you. I hear you, little one. I hear you, little kitty kitty. Ow. Ow. He bit me. He's upset because Leon's not paying attention to him. He's like, no, I don't want you. I want the cool one. I'm like, oh. Alright, so their pants are gonna go here. I say pants, it's like underwear, shorts, bloomers. That's bloomers? Whatever the fuck you wear underneath your everything. And these puff, because, like I said, the ladies, they like the poofy. They want the poofy butt. So this is kinda... do this. Maybe have some pretty lacies. Because why not? And then puffy. Puffy pants. Ooh. Poofy pants. And it cuts off. Not that much. Cuts off at about here. Thank you, Stream Elements. Thank God it's working. I set it up right. Yay. It's probably cinched a bit at the waist, so there's a bit of wrinkle. Let's not have that look dumb. There we go. If I could turn off the symmetry, they probably have this little string here that they tie it with. Boom. Puffy pants. There we go. Female underwear done. Oh, it's their markings. I am stupid. Let's name these so I don't forget what it is. Oh, and that's the sensor bar. Even though there is literally nothing there. I have a sensor bar because I don't want Twitch to be like, no, the semblance of a booby. Okay, have a good lurk, Steamboat. I did set up commands so you can lurk, if you so wish. I know some people were trying that, and I went, maybe I need that. And now I do. I have it. Alright, so chemise. If I can spell chemise, help me? Hello? Hello, 911? Please save me, I'm a dumbass. There's the corset. Here are the hose. And these are the pant. One pant, please. There we go. There's the full roster. I will color it in later. For now, I want to set my eyes on the male's curvature. So the first thing we're going to work on is the... actually, first I'm going to move my reference point over here so I can see what the hell I'm doing. And now we're going to draw the male chemise. Now, I'm saying chemise just for lack of a better term, but it's just the thing you wear under the corset. For us, it was linen, and it's just that, like, really thin white dress you see people wearing in, like, medieval times. Specifically, actually, I think it's French. It's a French word. But, yeah, for lack of a better term, that's just what we're gonna call it. And the males, well, the females want to have big booty and big booba. The males want to have a very thin, pencil-looking silhouette. So that's what they do with their clothes. Right, symmetry tool. Save me. Let's line this up correctly. Yeah. Oh yeah, and they have these really cool, cryptic, like, occultic-looking patterns that are just part of what they look like. And it's really fun. That's just their initial sketch. Okay. Now we're gonna work on the chemise, quote-unquote. Okay, so they have the same shoulder shape as females, and they don't really care about shoulder shape all that much, so their clothes aren't really going to reflect that, much like our clothes do nowadays, with men's shoulders being what's the word? I almost said influenced. That's not the word I wanted. Not insinuated. Showed off a bit more. Inflated, maybe? Like, just... It's what we tend to focus on when you think of a big masculine man, is the big shoulders. But these guys are like, nah, I don't care for shoulders. That's what non-gendered people do. But they do wear chemises, just like the women. But theirs is a lot more streamlined. It has no padding whatsoever. But it probably still has a bit of folds at the end, just to give their legs some room to walk around. So let's give it some ruffles here and there, just like the females have. But no padding, just flat as a board, as flat as they can make it. And now for the corset, because men also wear corsets in this culture, specifically to keep the padding on their bodies in here. It's specifically structured to give them as flat of a tube-like structure as possible. Think 1920s women's silhouettes, just straight as a board. So they, I need to turn this down just a little. Shh, don't tell Twitch. But I need to see where their chest line is. Alright. And then they wear a corset that actually accentuates and pushes out those, not hips, waist. Pushes out their waist. And then comes in very tightly on the hips. There we go. I have just been handed an apple. I have been given snack. Bat has been fed. Is this an illegal snack, or am I allowed to snack as much as I want because I don't have a challenge for it yet? Apple snacks are always nice. Also, hello Kiwi Fluffs. How are you? Sorry, choking on an apple. Thank you, Kiwi Fluffs, for following. Welcome to the Bat Cave. Yeah, I just got an apple slice from my dear sweet baby boy, love of my life, Leon, the sun bear. He just randomly, like, peeked over and just handed me an apple, and I'm like, oh, apple slices. Thank you, sir. I have not been fed for eons. And then I snacked on it. I consume apple. Alright. Back to, my corset. Out of here. For those of you who have just joined, including Kiwi here, we are working on clothes for my fantasy race that I created yesterday. I'm working on their underwear right now, because you need to know their silhouette before, well, at least I need to know their silhouette. You guys don't have to do this. I'm a special kind of cracked. And I like to know the silhouettes to my people. My people's fashion, specifically. Oh, they're your mods, Cone. Nice! Welcome! A friend of Cone is a friend of mine. Welcome! Because Cone is a very cool cat, or fox. Alright. And then I will close this off. Like, yeah? Like, hold on. Like, yeah? Like that? Yeah. Wait, Cone, what do you look like? Hold on. Let's draw Cone. I don't remember what you look like, but there you go. There you are, like, yeah. You can keep that. That's for you. You know what? I'm gonna send it to you. Like, yeah. I'll drop it in here. This is the only spot I have with you. There you go. You can keep that. Alright. I sent it in Hora's art Discord. So they get to look at that and be puzzled about it. This is fine. There we go. Eyelets for their corsets. I hope the art is good. I hope I did well. Oh, whoops. I'm trying to send someone a link to my Twitch and I almost sent them the nya. Like, that's not right. There we go. Oh, good. I'm glad. I want you to keep it. I don't know if I drew you correctly, but there you go. That's for you. Alright, and they will have lacing. The boys will front lace just like the girls. And then they will tie it, and they will tuck it in here. So there will be some string in here where they tucked the rest of that in there. Corset done for the boys. Oh, thank you. Lacing is nice. I don't know if you meant like mine specifically or just lacing in general, but yes, lacing is very nice. It's a very pretty pattern. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm running out of ink. And then they will have boning inside, but it's going to favor a very straight silhouette. Now we're gonna turn all that super down, and now we're gonna give them their lederhosen, their pants, their leg thingies, the thingies that keep their legs covered. There's the leather strap that they wrap around it, and it comes over the knees just a little. Oops. It doesn't clip into their legs, I promise. God damn it. Close in the Distance is playing again. Hope people are okay with the piano. The soft Final Fantasy music piano. Because it's just very pretty. And I'm trying not to sing to it, because it does have lyrics. Oh, good. I'm glad the piano is nice. I do get worried that people are going to be like, now, get the piano out of here. I'm like, oh. Actually, the females, it's a little lower, so I'm going to drop this a bit and erase this. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, because I tried another kind of music earlier. It was like this was supposed to be pretty and haunting, but it was actually starting to get like intense and scary, even though it was royalty free. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm going back to piano. Here we go. Nyan. I didn't mean to tab into that, but there he is. There's the boy. Alright, time for pant. Now, the ladies have poof pant because they want very poof outfits, but the boys, they're gonna be wearing just simple ass pants. Or shorts, rather. It'll start about here, where the curve is the smallest. Oh, jeez. Hello? Hello, art? Can I have you back, please? There we go. And it's also a thing they can tie, just like the females, because don't fix what ain't broken. And then they're gonna have some simple trouser shorts. Goes like that. Then closes off at about here. Oops, my pen skipped a little bit. Interesting. Yeah, that looks Looks pretty good. There we go. Pant. Pant for boys. And now, finally, we hop over to the U-males. Now, my species has started to accommodate for a third gender, someone who is neither male-female. They're just called U-males, which is what I refer to them as. But they are typically they-them, and they can be whether... It could be an identity, or it could be someone who doesn't fit neatly in the male to female checkbox. It could be someone who has aspects of both or neither, so what we would term intersex. But for them, I'm just calling them U-males, just to make things easier on me. Because that's the term I usually go with for any other species that I work with that I want to show off a third gender to. Or a third gender of, rather. So, females will have the padding on the booba, and these, I don't want to say guys, these individuals will have padding on their shoulders. Because males will have this very clean, thin silhouette, and I wanted to give the U-males their own distinct shape, which is a triangle. So we're going to be doing that. I need to figure out how to do shoulder pads. So I'm gonna do some research here, some reconnaissance, and look at some shoulder pads on some shirts and see how it looks. And then we're gonna incorporate that. Oh, that looks awful. Why is it always trying to give me like hockey and football wear? Every time I Google padding, it's just like, did you mean sports? Like, no, I did not mean sports. Stop it. Stop trying to sell me sport. I really like this. So maybe something like this? Maybe like this nice little padding right here? I like that. I'm gonna do something like that. Oh geez, that looks interesting but awful at the same time. Interesting. Damn it, now I want more apples. I'm gonna beg Leon with my eyes. Hey there. May I have apple? Please feed Bat. Bat is hungry. Alright, I'm going back to my corner. Apple. Hold on. Apple consumed. Alright. Back to my shoulder pads here. So since they're wearing shoulder pads, I'm assuming they would probably have a lot. Oh. Guess who didn't move his symmetry tool? This dumbass. Alright. How do I get it in the very, very middle? Come on now. Yeah, close enough. Yes, success. Apple, 8. So, because they need extra fabric to hold on to that, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give them this, like, little... It's a lot higher raise. The neckline's gonna be a lot higher, so it can have that... maybe even higher than that. So it can hold on to those shoulder pads and make sure they don't just, like, slide down the body. So it's going to be probably enforced here as well with a bit of extra fabric. And then we're going to have these, not that big, who am I? But we're probably going to have like these puffy little things that just kind of stick out this way. And then they're probably going to be sewed down right here. Maybe more here. And then it's just going to be... that looks a little too wrinkled. And it's going to be like kind of wrinkled here and here. And then it's going to be pulled in, and the sleeves will stop at about here, I want to say. Yeah, I think that's the kind of silhouette they'd be able to grab. There will be pieces of the shirt that tugs weird in these areas to give them armpit room. But other than that, their chemise is going to just follow their natural curves, come down just like the others, and give a bit of wrinkle at the end. So there we go. There's all of our chemises done. So now we can turn it down, and we can continue with our corsets. So their corsets are going to be more in line with males, except it's going to be opened just a bit at the chest while cinching in part of the waist and hips to really give that more triangular curve. So once again, don't tell Twitch, but the sensor bar is down a little bit. We're going to have this... nope, come on. This flattened curve, not meant for pushing the bust up, but just for holding in a oh my god, holding in a shape. I need to turn my canvas so I can keep my hands steady. There we go. And they're gonna just have this curvier one that pulls in the waist, like this. It'll be open here with the flap of whatever. And then their boning is going to accentuate the top as well. Like this. Then there's going to be a bit more boning topped like that, to help with the structuring. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a little lower, actually. A little lower, like coming from here. That way it matches more in line with their waist. And now we're going to tie this thing. There we go. Just like the other two, they lace it in the front. Then they tie it off. And they stuff it. Because they want that bulk. So they're going to stuff it up here. Yeah, there we go. Corset finished. Now they're hose, just like the others. They have the standard knee-high with the garters. Here's our little garters, just below the knee. That looks a little funky. Let's fix that. That looks much better. Okay, so let's scoot this up. I'm gonna scoot it back around. Yeah. Now we just follow the legs. Give them their little leather toe cappies for their toesies, so they don't rip their hosies. This music's so nice. I've gone on a tirade for like the past 2 days, 3 days almost, about how beautiful this music is. Sobi, hello! How are you? Oops. Let's fix that. There we go. There we go. Hose done. Hose mad. Alright, time for pant. I think just like the guys, they're gonna have just some standard pant. Oh, ranked Valorant? Is Valorant any good? I think that's the Riot game version of an FPS, isn't it? I think that's what it is. I sadly do not keep up with Riot's games that aren't League. I will say though, I would love to play a Riot MMO. I've talked at length about a Riot MMO with others for, I want to say, months now, since Arcane came out. I'm like, oh my god, I need to play a Yordle or something. let me be a oh, what are those things called? They're like the part animal people. What Ari and Zayan Rakan are. I don't want to say Shirazi, that doesn't sound right. I want to be one of those, maybe. Let me be a bat version. Ayo. There we go. Oh, same. I'm actually going to be playing League tomorrow. I need to practice my Vex. And I don't want to do ranked on stream yet. I don't want people to see that version of me. I get very angry. There we go. I finished their underwear. Woo! So as we can see, I gave the women the beautiful figure 8, to look at like a spooter, a Black Widow spooter. The boys look like a tiny male spider, and then the U-males are just a new shape entirely. Do I want to add anything else? I don't think so. I think this looks good. Vampire skin for Vlad. For new league skin? Or is this an old league skin? I can delete that since I have finished it. Let's move the sensor bar up. And then I can start coloring this later. But now that we have the basis for the shape, we can actually start figuring out what their clothes look like on top. Because we need to know how much clothing they're putting on to hide all of this stuff. Which means a female's neckline for their clothes could easily be a V-neck, while a female's clothes will probably always go up to the neck or more because they're hiding that underwear. So this is kind of why I do this exercise, so I can figure out exactly where to push and pull for each of their clothes. Let's scoot and look at the lady again. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Now how am I could just turn this off and color them very quickly, because it takes like 2 seconds to color stuff in Clip Studio. If I'm on the right layer, it takes 2 seconds. If I'm on the right bucket, it takes 2 seconds. What the hell? Okay, now I'm just confused. I must have missed something. Okay, so maybe it doesn't take 2 seconds. I'm a fool. I'm a bloody fool. I am a fool. So I'm just gonna color it in as quickly as quickly as I can. I'm gonna outline it. Oh, I know what I can do. Oh, there is. There's a space up here. Interesting. But I can do this. Since I can't find the space specific to that. And now I can just boop. There we go. Colored in. But yeah, tomorrow we're gonna be doing some League of Legends normals because, like I said, I don't want people to see that version of me yet. I don't want to get that angry. Why isn't it working? Ugh, I'm so sad. Is it because of my symmetry tool? No? It's just broken. Whatever. I'll just color it in. I'll just do this. Whee! That's what I used to do on Paint Tool Sai before I realized Paint Tool Sai has a paint from source button. But hey, it works because my bucket isn't working for some reason. I have no idea why. Let me look. Why aren't you working, sir?
I think that's a sign. I think that's a sign being like pitch cold.
It works here, so something with the chemises are broken. Oh, for tomorrow morning? Yeah, if you want to hop in, you can. Just whenever you're awake. I don't know how long I'll be going for, but I know I'll be getting up tomorrow pretty early. I usually start at 9:30 Pacific, which is GMT -8. Oh, I think I know what was wrong. I had a button pushed down, so it didn't want to work with me. That's okay. Oh, that's actually way too many moving parts for the corset, so I'm gonna have to do this. Okay, everything's good. Alright, let's just flip that and boop boop boop. A boop boop boop, and a boop boop. Corset's colored. And this, I could probably just do this. Because the corsets had way too many working pieces for me to really effectively use my bucket tool on. But this, it's pretty straightforward. Just fill it in. There we go. And filled. Now for their hose, really struggling. Let's do art for shrimp. Oh, you draw as well. Actually, yeah, I remember you do art as well. Have I seen any of your art before? Was it the little bat? Oops. Oh no, a sad son. Or a sad... Who is that? Oh, it's Teo. No, don't cry.
Try relaunching my game and see.
That's such a sad emote. What the fuck? I feel so sad. Time to color pant. Alright then, yeah, I think I have seen your art. I think I've seen the cute little bat that you've drawn of yourself in the like the bat form. I remember you saying you did that. So if that's true, I have indeed seen. I have perceived. There we go. Now this is gonna be a
That's fine.
hell in a handbasket, so I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm just gonna flip it. Oops. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Pant. And there we go. That's what the complete outfits look like. Now, because they use spider silk, and there is literally no point in dyeing your underwear, unless you know it's going to be shown, they're probably not going to dye their spider silk clothing. So it's all probably going to look like this. Here's the chemise, colored, which looks like that. Oh, the little chemise. What they color their corsets? I did. Lillian's icon too. Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cute. And Bulba and Sobi PNGs. Nice. I need to draw more PNGs in case people hop on my stream. Oh, nice. I did see the eyes for Bulba. Bulba did show off their eyes. I feel like they'd maybe do something. No, I'll keep it like that. Their hose. They would definitely dye their hose. They would make them dark. 2.5 DIs. I'll make them a bit darker. And then they make the leather tips even darker. Like this. Oh, there we go. And now the pant. And pant is probably going to be the same color as their chemise. Hello, Danny! How are you? There we go. That looks pretty nice. I'm doing good. I am finalizing some underwear for my race. How are all of you guys doing, by the way? How have you been liking the my little abominations here on stream? These beautiful underlings. Look at these beautiful creatures. And now we have their underwear. Because I'm not gonna lie, I really like how they turned out. They make me very happy. Oh, I could probably turn off the censor bar now too. Oh, because while they did not show anything like Nepal or I don't want to like dingles or anything. I don't want to risk it because I know Twitch is a little weird when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I kept everything on a sensor bar anyway, just in case. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am basing their clothes a bit off of a bunch of different periods, mostly Victorian inspired, Victorian and with like a hint of Regency. Twitch is picky. Oh, Twitch, no, please don't cancel me. I just want a world build, please. But yeah, here are their underwear, complete with the silhouettes that they want to all emulate. And now that I have that, I can start creating actual clothes for them. Oh. Twitch, please don't. No, please, Twitch. This is my, my 4th day? Please. Yeah, it's my 4th day. Please don't cancel me. I'm just talking about clothes. I'm just widow. I'm a widow bat, please. Please do not hurt me. So, I'm thinking maybe they'll have stockings that can be semi-transparent, but for the most part, I think they just leave them a straight black because the blotting on their bodies would probably do this really interesting clashing with the colors. I got psst. Oh no. What reasons? I'm scared. I can send you the details on that. I didn't notice you were DMing me. Look at that cutie. Look at that. There they are, the cursed eyes. Oh yeah, and I saw that one in the Discord. That's so cute. You stole Angel's whole ass outfit. Oh, collab plan. Ooh. Okay. But don't tell anybody. It's a secret. You could probably guess my name on this though. But I wouldn't say it. Keep a secret. I forgot how to share that stuff. I'll worry about it after stream. I'll worry about it later. When I'm done closing out. I should be done here. I don't know. I want to say 10 to 20 minutes. But who knows if I forget and it gets pushed a little bit more. But yeah, these are my underwear for my babies that we just finished. Aww. Now, we can't see the back of them, but I do want for the females, much like the 1870s, 1880s bustle shape, I want them to have padding in the back, like I drew earlier. Here's leggings, or here's leggies. I want them to wear this little pad, as well as maybe a hoop, that gives them this really curvy, fluffy dress, like this. And then have it come down. Maybe have a tail just to counter that weight. So in the back, this is what they're gonna have for a lot of their clothing, because we're going for a very widow spider look silhouette shape. So with that, we are going to figure out how they put on that kind of silhouette. Now I'm going to move this in here so that I can turn them all down to the same opacity. Ah! Oh, you're teaching me how to show. Oh wow, that's... I see the RTX feature you sent me. That's beautiful. Hey baby, you look like an angel. The angel. Just a demonic abomination. Angel. There we go. I did it. It looks more like a squid than an angel, but we get the idea. I bring my fun little symmetry tool back over here. Make sure it's nice and even. Would they wear hats? Because I did say I'm... Oh shit. Alright, cool. They were gonna be based off of Victorian looks, but not quite. More like neo-Victorian. Because I like Victorian looks, but some of it can be a bit too limiting. So we're gonna play with it. Maybe add some veils. They are a spider-like people, so maybe I'm gonna have like spider designs on like hats or like tiaras or whatever those things are. The like headbands, but it like comes out to look like a hat kind of. Here, let me see if I can find an example of what I mean here. Oh, something kind of like this. I'm gonna draw it because I don't know if Twitch will yell at me for showing this picture. Oh, wrong page. But maybe have a hat similar to like this, where it like sticks up right here, and then has this, and then it does this like cool little spider design. I think that'd be interesting. Steampunk is also a really good aesthetic. I personally am not too big a fan on like browns and bronzes, so I always lean towards the more gothic look, like blacks and purples when it comes to aesthetic choice, especially in the drawings that I'm going to be making. But I appreciate the steampunk aesthetic. It still looks nice. It does it. Does the black vest and the purple tie not give not give it away? Am I too subtle? So they might also have horns. Maybe they shape their horns or hair into little horns. Oh, I thank you. I love my vest and tie. My tailcoats do the same thing, by the way. You see how my bow has this like this fun little like just look right there. You can't quite see it, but my bow does this cute little. Actually, let me do this. I'll show it off. You see here how my bow has a little bat motif on the edges? It's like little bat wings. I have a tailcoat, and it does the same thing, but you can't see it yet. Can't see the tailcoat from here, and that's okay. It's just a cute little bat motif. Oh, thank you, Medic. Thank you, Hora. I'm glad you guys like my outfit. I worked very hard on it. I spent literally, I went through like, I want to say five or six iterations of an outfit, and I finally landed on this one, and I'm happy with it. Well, thank you. Oh yeah, I also have little dangly bits. Let's see if I can't show off the full thing, because I'm cut off in this one. Don't mind the cursed. See, I have little bats at the bottom too, dangling off my coat. I have little dangly bits. I have very fluffy pants, and I have, let me put my arm down here. I have a little bat motif. And little lacy bits. It was very fun indeed to do. And then for my hair, I just went, fuck it, wolf cut, why not? I didn't think too much on my hair, but it's a look. Oh yeah, and I drew Con earlier of him saying, yeah. Wolf cut is good. Wolf cut, good cut. There we go. I forgot to delete that, but it's fine. You guys get to see Con saying yeah. Alrighty. Oh, right. Hair. That's what I was thinking of. I think it was medieval period that did it. But I want to do this, like, cool little, like, horned hairstyle for some of them. Oh my god. I've been blessed with more apple. Guys, Leon has thrown more apple slices at me. I am blessed. Are you done with apple? Are you give apple to bat? Thank you. Oh, a bear has fed an apple to a bat. I get a whole bag of apple. I forgot what I was doing. I'm just so happy. Horn hair. Right. Horn hair. Let's see if I can't find a good reference. But there are instances where women were drawn with very... I know. Listen, apples are... They're still good. Just because I'm a vampire bat doesn't mean I can't enjoy some fruit once in a while. Bugs are all yours, though. You can keep those. How do I do this? Let's see. I cannot find a good reference for what I mean. But hair did start doing this, like, little curly thing. I want to say around the 1400s, some women started doing up their hair like this, where they'd, like, take the ends here and they'd start curling it up, and it would start looking like these little horns, and I'm thinking of doing something like that. I think that'd be a pretty cool hair design for these beings, at least for some of them who have the time to do that kind of hairstyle. So probably the aristocracy would do it more. I wish I could find a reference point for this. This is so hard to find. But they really did do this, I promise, I'm not lying. I'm gonna see if I can't find it. It's hard to Google because I've tried horned hairstyles, I've tried, like, I mean, that's kind of close, but not quite. Maybe it was more 1700s. I don't think it was. I think it was late 1600s. Hair tiles. Yes, that will help me find hair. No, I said 1690s, not 1960s. Don't give me ugly hair. You want some crazy hair. Those people had crazy hair. Was it the 1500s? Am I in the wrong era? I know you guys probably can't see my screen, or at least the screen that I'm on, because I don't want to share that in case my Google search wants to flash something bad. But I cannot find it. It's fine. I'll find something about it later to prove I'm not crazy. But I do want to make their hair do this cool little horn thingy. I'm gonna have to find references though, so I know what I'm doing better. And maybe underneath that hair curl, they could probably have like a veil that clips on either side right here. Maybe have a veil underneath that like trails over them. Oop, not that bad, but trails over their bodies. Because the aristocracy is going to have a lot of layers and a lot of very pretty transparent fabrics, so maybe they have multiple, like just layered on top of them to kind of give this really pretty silhouette. The aristocracy is probably going to also have like this crazy horn design, maybe even like actual pieces of keratin put in their hair to hold their hair up. Maybe they'll have hair coming out of it. Maybe like this, where they're like wearing a head strap and then a horn that holds their hair in place and has their hair do this. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Pretty cool little look for the ladies. Maybe have like one strip of hair that's here. Maybe they added in artificial hair as well. Maybe they're hiding their real hair inside this headband. Something like that. I think that'd be interesting. Okay, so since we have underwear finished for everybody, there it is. I'm gonna turn that off. So for the clothing, let me zoom in a bit so it's not messing up so much. So for clothing, we have determined what their underwear is going to be like. And this helped us figure out their silhouette. And this is going to apply for all species, all the people in this culture, all of the species that are in this particular culture, whether you be poor or royalty. It spans across the entire people. However, after that, whatever they're wearing on top is going to depend on what they're doing specifically. Also, they could probably choose to take off some of the underwear pieces, such as the corsets, for more mobility if they're laborers. But I feel like they're always going to wear those chemises just as simple shapewear to help keep themselves in the fashions just a little bit. Because, as stated earlier, even people of the lower class still wanted to look in fashion, so they'd always wear... Okay, see you in a bit, medic. But they always wanted to wear something that resembled royalty, because they wanted to stay up to the fashion trends, just as we do today. Granted, they didn't have access to the same materials or colors, so of course the fabric was going to look a lot different. But they're certainly wearing partially the same thing, and that's what I'm going to try and emulate here. So for laborers, their underwear. Because they're working so hard, they are going to go without their corsets, but everything else they're going to wear. Probably the hose as well. because it's just a good leg protector. Also, they're in this big, dank, well, once was dank, cave system that they live in. It's probably maybe a little cold because they have no access to sunlight, only to these bioluminescent mushrooms, and possibly other lamp lights that they've created. So it's cold. It's gonna be cold. They're gonna keep most of their hose and their layers on. But yeah, the laborers won't work corsets. Everyone else, I think, will. So we'll keep that like that. Now, as for royalties' layering system, their hairs are going to be up, crazy, and I feel like they're going to be wearing gloves, possibly multiple sleeve layers as well as a jacket or like a bolero, maybe, over everything, and possibly a neck accessory of some sort. Whether that be from very expensive metals and gemstones, I will have to think more on it. Oh, let's get my... There we go, my regular color. So let's work on the first layer for the feminine outfit. They're going to try and puff as much as possible, so they're not going to wear anything that would flatten their chest nor their hips. So they would be wearing a very flary skirt. Now, I did want to do a semi-transparent series of layers on top of probably a folded base skirt. Whether the base skirt is whether the base skirt is made out of black or blue or green, that's up to them. Should I do purple? Maybe they can get, this is just me being wish fulfilling again, but maybe these aren't all the colors they have access to. Maybe some of them can find a very rare material. Oops. Very rare come on, don't do that. There we go. A rare material, probably a gem, for dye, and it would give them a beautiful purple. Listen, I just like purple, okay? So that's what I'm gonna do. They're gonna be able to find this rare material, whether it be like lapis or malachite, like it's a very groundable stone for dye, and they're gonna make purple. And that's what the royalty's gonna get. They're gonna get a very beautiful, rare purple. Probably not Tyrian purple, because that's for us, that's our world. But it's certainly probably dangerous to get this material. It's probably deep down in the cave system and in their mining area. So I think it should probably be maybe about this color. Maybe almost a bluish. Maybe it's like a play on lapis, but maybe the lapis got exposed to an iron. Maybe it's a type of powdered lapis that got oxidized with iron over time. Kind of like how rose quartz can get its regular quartz that's been oxidized with iron, or whatever the word is, and it turns it a pink color. That's actually how you get rose quartz, because it's come into contact with iron in the ground. So maybe that's what happened. It was supposed to be a lapis, but it mingled with an iron composite, and they found this more purpley looking material, and now they're using it for their dyes. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So they are going to want, first and foremost, a skirt, because they're all going to be wearing skirts, various versions of robes, but the women are going to especially be wearing these really big, like upside down teardrop shaped skirts. I want them to have this very spider-like silhouette, the spidery shape like this. So we're gonna go through and see what we can do for that. Okay. So it'll be tied off here like all the others. It'll probably be a bit wider than that to cling to the body. How am I gonna do this? It could be layered like this, maybe? Where it was that tool that I mentioned. And then it comes in. And then they have something underneath. Thinking. Maybe they have a cage. They might have a cage. Kind of like a half crinoline. To kind of keep the dress up. Because it doesn't poof out in the front. It only poofs out in the sides and the back. So maybe they have a cage that does this. It also doesn't poof out past the knees. So maybe they have a metal, like a very light metal boning structure of a piece of equipment that does this, and it kind of looks like a half crinoline. Let's see if I can't find what I mean. Oh, a bustle. That's what they're called. Yeah, something like this, like a bustle. So in the side right here, it's going to be looking like this. And that's gonna have this little connectors, like that. And that's what's gonna look like under her hips, or on the sides of her hips. I'm not going to worry too much about drawing the back shape just yet. I will get to that at a later day. Because I honestly don't have the room for it. These guys are right here in the way. But for now, we've got the basic shape of what we got underneath to give her more of a poof. So under that, she's probably going to be wearing a skirt that poofs out real big, and then is probably cintured in just a bit at the knees, probably even on purpose, like maybe they sewed it in right here, and then it gets really wrinkly here, if that's the case. So her skirt puffs out, and then it just comes in at the knee, and then it probably fans out like this. Maybe she looks like a mushroom. Let's fix that silhouette a little bit. Let's not have her look like a mushroom. Pressing undo 1,000 times. Alright, let's fix that silhouette. Because I want it to kind of look like a mermaid skirt, but not too crazy. Let's just keep it like this. I think this looks fine. Yeah, that looks a little better. So, poofy butt, and in the back it's probably going to look like this. Poof. And then it's going to come out in the back. But for now, this is the front. For the coat, it would probably, like the overshirt, would probably have to come here and stop here. Maybe even have like a... no, that looks dumb. But it would definitely come over it and out of it like that. But the question is, would this be the first layer or not? Let's go look at some Neo-Victorian outfits real quick. See what other people have done for their outfits. Because I do want to incorporate a bolero at some point. Oh! Pastel! Hello! Thank you for the follow! How are you? Okay, I think I found something that I want to do. So they're probably going to have this fun little cup right here. Oh, nice. I'm glad you're good. I'm doing pretty well myself. I'm about to wrap up here in a bit, but I'm just finishing off the silhouette for this art piece that I'm doing. I am creating clothing designs for a fantasy race that we made yesterday. The VOD should still be up for that if you ever want to catch it, but if you don't, I basically just made a fantasy race from scratch, and I went through different points for people who wanted to do it themselves, and explained my process so that it would help them make their process easier, I guess. Not that I'm the authority on creating races. And now we are dressing them up. Because I like fashion. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going about this. How I'm going to give this lady her outfit. Let's scoot some of this down. Because this isn't super high. She's gonna want her waist a bit more cinched than that. Yeah, we're basing it off of different gothic fashions because I have issues. I love this kind of clothing. And I'm still contemplating how I'm gonna do the jacket. Maybe like this. Maybe they have an under shirt that they put the skirt over to kind of cover everything. I think they do that. I think maybe she will have an overshirt and right here to cover the underwear. Get out of here. There we go. Probably cuts off right here a little bit. I don't know if they button it. Should they? They do have access to a lot of metals. Maybe they button it. I think they have little buttons. Tiny little buttons. Probably for just up here. And then they will let the shirt just hang loose down here because they don't really need the buttons for the shirt past that point. So they just slip on that shirt over their corset and their pants, their puffy little pants. Maybe they have a slit in the shirt to keep it open and flowing. Maybe like that. Because they don't want to hinder the puffy pants, because the puffy pants help hold up the everything else, as well as their half crinoline, or their bustle. That's what it's called, to hold up their bustle. And they'll probably just keep it regular. Maybe they'll have a bunch of little pretty laces attached to the sleeves like this. Just a bunch of pretty lace. Maybe they'll have some lace here too. Just a bunch of really pretty lace. go. And that will go under everything else. And then they'll probably slip on a bolero or a coat that accentuates the breast, because like I said, the females want to show off their curve. So probably something like this. And then they have a couple of buttons here. And then it cinches in here and sits comfortably on the skirt. Maybe it slipped right here and here to just give that curve. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it looks pretty. My brain has been rolling with this for the past 4 hours. 3 hours? 3 hours. I've just been, this has all been a brainstorm, by the way. But yeah, their coat, their bolero should come in right here. I'm thinking really fluffy, not fluffy, long, like big bell sleeves. Like just really big bell sleeves. I don't want to like hide everything, but just these really big, pretty bell sleeves with, maybe not lace for those, but just these really, really big, boofy shweebies. I think that look nice. And then attached to their coat, I feel like they would have something similar, these like bell pieces, and it would act as more padding in the back because we already have the skirt. This would act as even more padding to give that widow shape. So that's what the coat would look like, I believe. At least one of the coats. What else would I want to do? I think that's basically it, at least for the clothing portions of the females. I know all of these pieces are probably going to have a lot more inside, like various fabrics and laces and trim, but I don't have to do that with the... I don't have to do that with what I have now. I think all we really need to look at now is the jewelry. What kind of jewelry would they wear? I don't know if they'd wear any gloves. They do have very long, spindly fingers, and I don't think they'd feel like capping them with leather gloves. Maybe they do if they're like at a really, really, maybe like a really fancy outing. But I don't think they'd wear gloves when they're just hanging out. So we're not going to worry about gloves just yet. But I am going to put on, I'm going to give her probably a leather strap for the necklace to hold it in place. Very pretty leather strap. And then they'd probably have really interesting design decorative necklaces. Maybe something like this. All made out of like metal and chain and maybe studded with a few gemstones here and there, like here and here. I think that'd be really pretty. Maybe have a gemstone here. Just something like that. They may also have their wrists clamped with really pretty silver pendants. I think that would look nice. Maybe some, especially very religious ones, would have lower necklaces that harbor the symbol of their religion. Something that I will work on at a later date. That goes more into socials and cultural stuff, and right now we're working purely on aesthetic and fashion. But I do feel like their religion would come into play, because like I said, there is a lot of influence from religion onto the Gothic scene. Hold on, let me take a little sippy. I realize I'm starting to lose my voice a bit. Yeah, I needed that. Whew. But yeah, I know a few religions inspire the Gothic aesthetic, so I feel like that would play into their uh, just fashion aesthetic. Other than that, though, I think she's done. Oh, little booties. They would have little leather shoes. I was thinking pointed, probably long and pointed little boots, because their toes are actually pointed. Their toes point out and downward because they're longer than usual, and they use them for, well, when they were just creatures in a cave, they used them for climbing. So I'm gonna give them pointy little boots that stick out from under the dress. Something like that. Alright. I would say the sketch for her is done. And with that, I think I'm gonna call it a day. I have been going for quite a while, and I need to rest my throat. But we can work on the male and the male outfits next art stream, because I feel like art streaming and world building streaming are just gonna kind of go hand in hand. So probably Monday we're gonna be doing that. See you guys tomorrow, though. Oh, it was nice seeing you too, Medic. I will see you guys tomorrow for League. I want to start preparing myself, I guess, for the rest of my placements. So I'm going to be doing a few normals, specifically in a lane that I don't play that often, which is mid. And I really like the new champion Vex that came out, so I'm just going to be practicing her all day. Alright, and thank you for being here, all of you. It was really fun. I need to rest my throat, though. And I'm going to save this. And we will pick up on this specifically, I want to say, on Monday. If you want to keep up with my schedule, just follow my Twitter. You will get updates on whenever I go live, which is every weekday at around 9:30 PST. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.